What is climate change? Climate change, according to Google, is a change in global or regional climate patterns. A change apparent from the mid to late 20th century and onwards, and attributed largely to the increased levels of atmospheric carbon dioxide produced by the use of fossil fuels. Which is a great definition, but I'm going to explain it in a much easier way to understand through the most popular game of all time, and, if you read the title, Minecraft. When you use things like cars, electricity from some power plants, household appliances, and even some industrial machines, those machines give off carbon dioxide. Not to mention, humans and animals alike also exhale carbon dioxide through the respiratory system we call breathing. But we will focus on cars just for a moment. Cars, when the engine is turned on, creates a gas known as CO2 that comes out of the exhaust pipe. This gas is extremely apparent and can be noticed all the time. If you've ever tried to breathe with your head nearby an exhaust pipe, you will notice the air itself gets somewhat thin. This is because your body is used to breathing oxygen. This same premise applies to humans themselves. If you've ever been in a room with a lot of people, you will notice if the room doesn't have good ventilation of fresh air, it can become stuffy and get harder to breathe. This is because humans exhale carbon dioxide. But anyways, since a good percentage of the world uses cars, this causes a lot of carbon dioxide to be sent up into the atmosphere. When we leave the TV running or the lights on, that uses electricity that a power plant has to create, in turn making even more CO2. Airplanes are another example of CO2 production. This CO2 will go up into the atmosphere and cover us like a blanket covering you at night to keep your body warm. This right here is what climate change is. The sun itself provides the earth with a lot of warmth, but when there is a lot of CO2 in the atmosphere, it can cause the planet to stay too warm. This is because carbon dioxide, thanks to its chemical makeup, makes it really good at keeping heat trapped on the planet, in turn making the sun keep us too hot. When the planet gets too hot, it can cause a lot of things, including drought, which will end up killing the plants that feed us. Not only this, but the hot air on the earth basically makes the more tropical areas straight up the best places for storms to occur. These storms also make huge waves that destroy coral reefs. Not to mention, this is just the start of the problems. There are much bigger issues that humans have yet to face when it comes to climate change that are starting to show. But you may be wondering, how on earth do we help our planet with this heat problem? Well, there are a multitude of things we can do to try to help our CO2 problem. If you drive an electric car, like a Tesla for example, then congratulations. Your vehicle does not produce CO2 to the degree that a gas-powered car does. Switching off the TV and lights before you leave also puts less stress and strain on the power plants that produce CO2. More ways is to invest in solar power or wind power electricity instead of traditional fossil fuels. Recycling trash or using renewable energy sources is also one. Another way is to reduce meat consumption. This is important because the warehouses that make meat, especially beef, make a lot of CO2. And oh my god, I almost forgot about plants. You may be wondering, where does the CO2 go after being in the atmosphere? The main primary ways that CO2 leaves the atmosphere is through being absorbed by the ocean and throughout the plants on the planet. The plants and greenery on the planet breathe the opposite way we animals do. So, while we breathe oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide, the plants take in carbon dioxide and produce oxygen through the process known as photosynthesis. Now hold on. You may be thinking, how can I change the entire CO2 production of the planet? I'm legit only one person. And while yes, one person wouldn't really do much, it is when a big amount of people take charge and do things to help out the planet that produce less CO2. That is when a big change can happen. Overall, carbon dioxide is a bad problem for the Earth. But if a lot of people do something about it, together we can make a big change on the Earth and help out our planet. Thank you for watching. If you have made it this far, why not consider subscribing? I work really hard on these Minecraft videos, and if you ever consider unsubscribing in the future, you can. It's free, so why not consider subscribing? And liking the video also helps me out along the way. But anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.